Hey yo, speak my rants and gems. Speak my rants and gems. Y'all can do it, we discover. Peace to all the kings and the queens where the mother lie. Speak my rants and gems. Speak my rants and gems. Y'all can do it, we discover. Peace to all the kings and the queens where the mother lie.
Alright, so welcome back to another episode of Rants and Gems. My name is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, but better known as an MG, the mortgage guy, aka International MG.
And my name is Quiana Watson, license number 317576, broker extraordinaire, hashtag international, hashtag with or without, all of that. Welcome to the Rants and Gems show.
Hashtag burning sage. Yo, you're a nut. I swear. Consistently. All right, so we got a dope episode today. All right, we're gonna talk. A lot of y'all is always in the comments, in the DMs, talking about NACA. So we're gonna give y'all a NACA episode today. We got two parts to this episode. First part, we're gonna talk from a buyer's perspective, someone who house hacked with NACA and has a nice portfolio. And then the second part of this episode is we're going to talk from the real estate broker perspective and how to get your offers accepted nationwide using the NACA program. So first things first is my guy, Andre, aka Renaissance 125 on Instagram. This is my guy. He represents the Chi. Shout out to Chicago in the building. I love Chicago, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Chicago's a whole vibe.
Hey,
it's just too damn cold.
Yeah, it is cold. It's freezing right now.
It's the windy city.
It is.
Yes.
For a damn reason. It is windy out there. Yeah. But shout out to my guy, Dre. Introduce yourself to the people, bro.
Hey, like you said, Andre Haynes from Chicago, the South Side, the Ida B. Wells projects. I've managed to attain over $1.5 million through the NACA program by house hacking and dividing and conquering. And that's what I'm here to talk about y'all today.
Nice. There we go. So real quick, this is live, so I'm gonna say this on camera. Dre, when it's red right there, that's the camera. When it's red on there, that's your camera.
Okay.
All right? So that's live for the audience.
And let me tell the people something. Y'all really want to take notes on this program because NACA is the best program in the world for no money down and the lowest interest rate on buying a property. So if you don't know what NACA is, that is what NACA is. It's going to give you the ability to purchase a home with no money out of pocket and a very low interest rate. Take notes and be prepared because this is the NACA man right here.
Absolutely. So let's start off with the first question, Dre. When did you fall in love with real estate?
After my first NACA deal.
Talk about it.
I read about, the power of real estate and, everything. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all of that stuff got my mind right. But like when I actually had the experience and I felt like the freedom that I had after I bought that first 4 unit, and I could just walk into my job and look at my bosses who the hell y'all talking to? You know what I'm saying? That's when I knew yeah, you know what I mean?
That's when you fell in love with real estate.
Yeah, that's when I fell in love with real estate because I knew it was this was the key to my freedom. This was my out right here.
So what made you choose NACA over all the other programs that's out there in the world today?
Some excellent advice from a mentor of mine. I reached out to her after saving probably 10, 12 grand. And I had been working at a dead-end job probably for a long time, just way longer than I wanted to, but I did good at the job and I was saving up my money, you know what I mean? I just got to a point where I was just tired of being broke, you know what I mean? And I just started really saving my money, educating myself, reading books, Money Master the Game, all of that kind of stuff. And like I said, I saved a nice amount of bread, so I reached out to a big sister, a mentor of mine. I'm like, yo, I'm ready to buy a house. And she was like, man, that's cool. But you should consider getting you a multi-unit, especially in your situation, you know what I mean? You know how you like to live, you know what I mean? You're a young, flashy dude, you know what I mean? You like to, you know what I'm saying? Just kick it and just live a certain type of lifestyle. And that'll be the best thing for you because what it doesn't do is lock you into having to pay an expense for the rest of your life. But what it does is it gives you cash flow for the rest of your life. And it also allows you to live for free. So that way, the money that you're working for, whatever money that you are generating, you get to keep it, you know what I mean, and build business with it, go buy more real estate, whatever it is that you want to do. And that made all the sense in the world to me because it was just confirmation for what I had just read in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah. And she was like, look, I'm gonna give you the play. It's this program called NACA, no money down, lowest interest rate in the world. They pay for your attorney, they pay for your agent costs, just all of these different things. I'm like, fuck out of here, you lying. I'm like, you lying. So she like, no, I'm not. So I went to the program, did everything that I needed to do as far as, the registration process. They got like this long ass intro meeting where you got to sit for like 3 or 4 hours just like to get the full play and understand like everything that's going on. And I did everything that I needed to do. And from there, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And I signed up. They gave me my first meeting with my mortgage counselor. And that was probably like the turning point for me, because I had a really, really cool mortgage counselor. And it was all based on like sneakers. He saw I came in, he saw I had on.
First of all, shout out to those kicks. I ain't gonna hold you up. I'm a sneakerhead. Troy would appreciate those too.
What are these?
Calls Jordan 4s.
I think I like those sneakers.
Yeah, so
So for the people that are listening, they're all black and it has like little Jordans on it or something.
No, it's like these little hands. So the artist that Jordan did a collaboration with, his name is Brian Donnelly Call. He's from New York. He's a street artist. And I collect a lot of his art personally around my house too. We'll get into that because I do Peer Space. And he did a collaboration with Jordan, and I bought these shoes probably like 3-4 years ago for like $200. Right now, they probably worth like $2,200. This is the first time they ever touched concrete.
Oh, baby. Watch your step. Watch your step on the way out.
Yeah, but that me walking into the office, I had on like a fresh pair of mics, and he was like, man, I was trying to get those for my son. I couldn't get them. How you get them? And we just started having a conversation, and we vibed, and I was telling him what my goals were. And he was like, man, I like you, I like what you're trying to do, so I'm gonna give you the play. Look, this what you do, don't use this program to get no 1 unit, no 2 unit, no 3 unit. He was like, go out to a 4 unit. He was like, the more units, if you get you a 2 unit, it'll kind of like help you pay it'll help you with the mortgage payment. You get you a 3 unit, that's cool. If somebody move out, you still gonna end up probably having to pay a little bit, but if you get that 4, if somebody move out, you still got 2 people, paying your mortgage down. If you got 2 people moving out, you still got somebody helping you to pay your mortgage down. And it's rare that you're gonna have that many people moving out at the same time.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So he was like, the more units you get, that's the more cash flow that you're gonna have, and that's the more freedom that you're gonna have. And from there, I just took his advice and started doing everything that I needed to do to qualify for the program. So when I first went through, I wasn't quite ready. I had a car note. He was like, how much is your payment on your car note to just get it paid off? I'm like, $3,000. He was like, dude, you got that in your account. Go pay that off right now. He's like, pay it off in full, bring the paperwork back. It don't got a report. He was like, just bring the document that says that you paid it, and we'll, get that to the underwriter, and they'll prove that as a paid off, debt. And maybe like some Sprint phone bills, a little stuff like that. At the time, like, I was like really just trying to figure my life out and get everything like, in order. And he was just like teaching me a lot of little stuff about just like credit and stuff like that. Like I say, he was the coolest mortgage counselor you'll ever find. And I did everything that he said to do. And after a while, I got my approval letter and I went out and started searching. And I got me a 4-unit property, man, a brick 4 unit in a very nice neighborhood. You don't have to buy in a poor neighborhood. You don't have to buy in a slum neighborhood. It's like, I've taken advantage of this program. Like I say, when I say to the max, to the max. I got me a brick 4 unit in a really nice Chicago suburb. Amenities, buses, train lines, Walmart, shopping, churches, like the expressway, everything's 15 minutes from downtown, 10 minutes from downtown Chicago.
How much you paid for the property?
$360,000.
How long ago was this?
This was in 2015.
2015,
Yeah.
so about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And right now the property probably worth like $510 on top of
Nice.
me paying it down. So I probably got about $210 equity in it over that amount of time. But I bought the property, it was fully occupied, and it had 1 unit available, which was like the perfect situation because I needed to move in a unit. The unit that was available, it was renovated, ready to go. And I took advantage of the program by taking advantage of all of the benefits. The interest rate buy down, the whole 4 unit thing, I got seller's concessions at the time when you were able to get seller's concessions. And I used those seller's concessions to buy my interest rate down to 2.5%, which saved me a ton on the mortgage.
2.5% 7 years ago was unheard of.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's why I never refinance.
Yeah, there's no reason to refinance. You got something?
I'm like, there's no reason to refinance. Yeah. So now that you got the property, so you moved in, what are you cash flowing every monthly on these properties?
So on this property, initially the rents were low. In over 7 years at this point, I'm cash flowing probably $1,800 easy. That's what a unit taking.
So $1,700 after all expenses are paid.
Yeah.
So you're living for free.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much money? Let me rewind. How much money when you closed did you come out of pocket with?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, I kept all of my money, and I even
Zero.
walked away from the closing table with a
With money.
$5,000 check.
So,
They give you money.
whoa. So you walked away with $5K in your pocket. You made $200K in equity so far in 7 years, and you're making $1,700 net on a monthly basis.
And when I closed on the property, the first day, I closed at the end of the month, so everybody paid their rent on time. So I walked into 3 checks on top of the $5,000 on top of the money that I had saved up.
That's a big gem.
Big.
Listen.
Yeah.
Big Jim. Didn't I tell y'all to take notes? That's a good thing about NACA. And we always hear about the NACA program, and at least that you listened to your counselor and you followed all the steps.
Yeah.
So could you tell people what were some of the biggest hurdles that you faced going through the NACA program? Because so many people quit.
The same thing that they face, the rough communication, the lack of just like, interest, you know what I mean? Sometimes it seems like, but I also had like people in the office, like I just had like people who were drawn to me, and I just built really good relationships in the office. And a lady at the front desk, she used to see me come in frustrated all the time. And she used to be like, come here, baby, let me talk to you. And she was like, that's what she said. She said, listen, this is what you got to do. She said, you have to stay on these people's ass. If you want to get your deal done, you got to come to this office. You got to knock on doors, knock shit off the desk, like whatever you need to do to let these people know you serious. Sometimes you got to do that because they're not going to take you serious otherwise. And she was like, another thing, make sure all of your documents are always up to date. So if you get paid every 2 weeks, send them that document. Every time a bank statement come out, don't fall behind on your documentation, because a lot of times, like, you'll go in for your meeting and be like, I sent you that already. Like, you didn't send an up-to-date document. Like, you didn't got paid 4 times since the last time I saw you, and we just don't have this stuff. So a lot of people get frustrated with the documentation and just the communication. But for me, it just made all the sense in the world. Like, I get all of this for nothing, and all I got to deal with is just a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? Just like push back. Like,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that because I knew the situation that I was going to be in. Most people, when they're buying their first property, you know what I mean? Like, they could barely buy furniture, you know what I'm saying? They sleeping on the mattress on the floor sometimes, like, until they able to feel it. Like, man, I was able to go put TVs on the wall. I went and bought a Jag. Like, boy, like, I went crazy, like, after I closed. Like, cause I couldn't, do the process. You can't spend no money. You can't do nothing. So for me to walk away with all that bread and the freedom on top of me still working, I'm like, I'm finna go get a Jag. I put money in the stock market. Like, I just started going crazy because I had the information. It's just like, all right, now I got the money, now I know what to do with it. And that could set me up to be able to like do everything that I'm doing now. Since that first deal, I done obtained another property that's worth $1 million. I done built a brand, a clothing brand. I become an author. I travel, I do public speaking, just podcasts constantly, and NACA set me up to do all of that. And I haven't worked in 6 years. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I was able to step away from my job and just like really like start living on my own terms thanks to NACA.
Damn, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. So NACA helped you buy your freedom.
Man, I ain't even have to buy it. They gave it to me. Like you see, like I ain't spent no money. They gave it to me. Like, here, all you had to do was follow the instructions.
How long did it take you to go through from the beginning to the end of your process with NACA?
So my first NACA meeting, like when I went to that 4-hour meeting, it was probably in like October, and I closed in May.
Yeah.
But I also had some things that I need to do on my end as far as like, finances, paperwork, all of that stuff that I need to get in order too. So a lot of times when people hear this program, they just hear this like too good to be true program, and they go running towards like, oh man, my credit could be like, no, your credit can't be messed up and all that. Like it's the same process that you go through with any other home buying program as far as paperwork and everything else.
Yeah.
They're just more so concerned about your debt to income ratio than your credit score. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you can't have any negatives or none of that type of stuff on your credit. You know what I mean? It's still the same thing, but it's just like they're not as strict as far as like their credit and stuff like that, their credit rules and stuff like that.
So you have this 4-family, you have your freedom. Are you having long-term tenants, or are you doing it in these little hacks where you're doing like Airbnb, peer space, things of that nature?
So I have started doing peer space and Airbnb because this is what happened. So after I got the first property, I used to take my ex-girlfriend with me at the time, with me to all of my meetings and stuff like that. And again, I had a cool mortgage counselor. He's like, listen, this is the play.
Yeah.
Bring her back after you get your deal, and y'all get another one.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, he was like, bring her back and y'all get another one. So we did that 3 years later. And with this one, I know the program, you know what I mean? I know Chicago, I know all of the rules. You can get up to a 4-unit that's worth up to $900,000. You know, all of these different things that the average person don't know. And with me knowing how they qualify you based on the rents that the property is already generating, I'm like, I can go big at this point. Like, as long as the rents can cover whatever the mortgage is, or at least like a big bulk of that, and I can cover whatever my payment gonna be, like I can start looking on the north side. So I'm looking like in Chicago, Lincoln Park, Bucktown, Westtown, Ukrainian Village. These are all like the $1 million properties, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we took her up north, and we got a property, a 4-unit, that's really 2 properties in one. It's a 3-unit building on the front of the lot, and y'all call them ADUs out here? We call them coach houses in Chicago. Coach houses. So it's a coach house, but this ain't no regular coach house.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker big rooftop, see the city skyline, floating stairs, coffered ceilings. The dude who developed it, he's the developer, and he owned it and he lived in it, right? So we went over there talking to him or whatever, and he wanted to do a deal with us because everybody else who was coming through, they were like lowballing him because he was a older Puerto Rican guy. He ain't, like I say, he ain't look like no rich guy, none, you know what I mean? But he was a developer and he knew his area because he grew up in the area. It was a gentrifying neighborhood called Humble Park. And now, like I say, they building, like I say, $1 million properties over there. And he's like, man, I'm just glad a young brown couple came in, so I'm willing to give y'all whatever y'all need. He gave us 40 grand. We had to come up with $70,000, but it wasn't for a down payment. It was about an interest rate down. On this one, we got the interest rate down to 0.8%.
What?
What?
I think the rum punch got me. What?
What year was this?
This was in 2019.
Okay, so in 2019. Wow, that is an amazing. That's an amazing interest rate, you guys. Okay.
0.8, and the rents in the area, I'm talking like you getting $1,600 for a 1-bedroom.
Do you mind telling us what that building is cash flowing?
Right now, it ain't
Talk to us,
listen, right now it ain't cash flowing nothing, and I try to keep it real because I just got hit with like a $33,000 plumbing issue, so that took all the cash flow away. But it's all good though because it come with the territory, you know what I mean? And luckily and like thank God, like just we were in position to have the bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to be able to take care of it, like I ain't stressed about it, I ain't messed up about it. Of course, it left one of them little feelings in my stomach, like damn, $30,000, like, you know, like that's another property essentially that I can go get. But I did what I had to do because my garden unit kept flooding. You know what I mean? So we had to get that taken care of. But outside of that property was cash flowing probably, man, at least easy $2 grand. With us living in the big giant house, like, and with that, I do peer space. And I do Airbnb for my other joint too. So Peer Space has been busting off the chain for that house. When I say off the chain, every young rap artist in Chicago want to come to my house and sit on my stairs. Like, and rap about selling drugs and shooting niggas and shit. Like, you know?
I'm sorry, you guys are trying to keep PG-13.
I'm sorry, y'all, but it's the truth, and it's cool because what it does, man, it allows me to interact with these young dudes who were like me at one point, and I get to get in the game because they be like, you own this? Like, yeah, that's me, bro. And they be like, you look like us, you talk like us, you dress like us, you in here smoking weed like us, like, yeah, and it's all me. Like, and you can do the same thing. They be like, how?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that gives me like a bridge and a connection to a younger group of individuals who may not even have access to somebody to share this information with them. And I feel like God put that, you know what I mean, that peer space and just that in my life for me to be able to interact with these young men because that's all that come to my spot.
That's an amazing story, though, honestly. It truly is. And we always say that. It's incredible. Like, I read this meme a while ago. It was like, especially as Black people, most of the time we're taught to look like, dress like, talk like certain people. But when you go to different, like in other cultures, it's like they look like, talk like, dress like themselves because they were taught to be owners. But we were a lot of time raised to be employees and to be workers. So we think professionalism has to look a certain way. We think that ownership has to look a certain way. And we have to shift our mindset from that because this one right here, he gonna dress like, walk like, talk like what he wants, but they're gonna pay him to take pictures in his property.
Facts.
So when you own, you can own yourself.
Facts. Good facts.
And the crazy thing is, like, even saying that, the with the first property, I had all older tenants, man. They were looking at me like, he buying the property? And like, I would go over there dressed like this, collecting the rent checks, like doing my walkthrough, like when I'm doing the inspection for the property. They like, y'all lying. How old are you, 22? Like, no, I'm not that young, but I'm out here and I'm handling my business. So have some respect for me and I'm gonna have some respect for y'all. We're not gonna do the disrespect thing. We're not gonna, you know what I'm saying, treat me like I'm no young gangbanger, none of that, because I'm actually really smart and I'm intellectual and we just gonna have respect for each other. I'm gonna take care of your property and you gonna take care of me when it's time to pay. Like, and we've established a level of respect, man, and I've never had a bad tenant in 7 years. Not one time. Everybody pay their rent on time, everything.
So I want to talk about this $33,000 bill.
Yeah.
Right? Because oftentimes everybody wants to buy a house and have no money. Yeah. And I'm big on don't be house rich and cash poor. Man. I scream that shit to the top of my lungs. Yeah. Even if you're doing a program like NACA, you should still have some money because anything can happen when you own real estate. What the hell costs $33,000?
So
to get like I'm confused.
Plumbing.
Like, tell us.
So with plumbing, plumbing is inside the walls and under the ground. And the only way you can get to it, if you digging stuff up and tearing up the concrete and all that, and they don't do that with their hands. They got to get big machines, excavators and all that, and they don't pay for that. That come out of your pocket. So you're paying just to get to the pipe a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? When they get in the machines, and then once they get to the pipe, I have so much more respect for just plumbers in general. Man, they down there working in poop water, boy. Like it's real poop floating in the water. Like, listen, so I have a series on YouTube called The Landlord Life, and I document all of this. I got 3 seasons where I started like at the beginning of the pandemic. I'm like, you know what? I'm finna show people what being a landlord is really like. All of this glitz and glam on the internet, that ain't it. Y'all capping. Like, cause I deal with issues every day. I'm fixing toilets, unclogging sinks, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And a lot of this stuff I had to learn to do on my own, and some stuff I can't do on my own, and I pay for it. But like these guys, man, they digging up the ground, 10 feet down to the ground. They gotta get to the pipe. They gotta cut the pipe. And then, like, in order for them not to mess up the apartment, they had to dig from the outside to the inside. So they had to dig a tunnel. Like, it's a lot. And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay. At first, I was upset and I was frustrated, but like, I see why this costs $33,000 because this is a lot of work, and I wouldn't know what to do. The first thing to do, like, and not only that, but that was $16,000, and the other $17,000 came from I had to put a flood prevention system in after I got the pipes to keep the unit from ever flooding again because I'm in a flood zone. So essentially, I had to put an entire brand new sewer system right in front of my house. They have sewer systems for the street and the city, but I had to build one for my apartment building so that the garden unit couldn't flood. In Chicago, we got basement unit apartments. Mm-hmm. And if you close to the lake, when it rain a lot, the city gonna shut the lines down so they, systems and stuff don't flood. And the tenants, the residents gonna have to take some of that. And if you don't got a flood prevention system, you just gotta eat that if you got a basement.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wanted you to break that down because, again, you can't be house rich and cash poor. Yeah. If you was house rich and no cash, you couldn't fix your plumbing issue. Cooked. And that can cause more issues.
So it would have caused one, loss of a tenant because that apartment is generating, $1,500 a month. In addition to that, it would have caused mold. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Constantly water coming in the apartment. In addition to that, it would have caused damage to the baseboards, to cabinets, just like, all of those different things. So it would have really, really ran up if I didn't get it fixed. On top of me having to fix the apartment, I would have still had to do the plumbing job if I didn't get it done. So it would have probably ran up to 50, 60 grand if I hadn't done it when I did it at the time. And the crazy thing is I tried to patch it up for a year and a half. I was trying to put Band-Aids on that thing like constantly. You know what I mean? But it just didn't work out for me. And I just had to eat it. But at the end of the day, what I know and I understand real estate, when you do a job like that, something like that, it adds value to your property. Plumbing, electricity, roof work, stuff like that, it adds value. And I added something that my property didn't have, which is a flood control system. So that adds crazy value in a city like Chicago.
So real quick, before we wrap up this segment, I want you to give 3 quick tips to self-manage your property for the new NACA home buyer who's buying a multifamily.
Man, first and foremost, separate your money from your business money. Like, that's the first thing, because the money not yours. You're gonna make your money for real, after probably the first 5 years, because them first few years, you're gonna be fixing up little stuff and doing stuff that because typically when you're buying one of these properties, you're not buying the best property on the market. Again, this is a rental property, you know what I mean? So your first 5 years, you're gonna be fixing up little stuff and doing stuff like that, but you need to save your bread because issues are gonna come. You're gonna have roof issues, you're gonna have plumbing issues. Like these houses are like cars, they're gonna break down, you know what I mean? So you gotta be prepared for those. Second, just be respectful to the people that are living in your property. You know what I mean? If you want them to respect you, you gotta have respect for them as well. When they call you about issues, it's not their fault a lot of times. Your property just doing what properties do. You know what I mean? It's breaking down. And lastly, the third thing would be, man, buy right. You know what I'm saying? Like buy right, and the property a lot of times will manage itself because the numbers and everything gonna fall the way that they supposed to fall, and it'll make it easy for you to save your money. You know what I mean? Put money to the side, take care of your expenses, live life how you want to live your life. And those are the three main things, man.
I like that.
Yeah.
Man, lots of gems, brother. Give it up to our brother Andre. Look, we're gonna come back. Part 2 of this episode, super dynamic. Like Quiana said earlier, get your notepads out because a lot more information is coming.
I know we need to wrap up, but he didn't give his rant and he didn't give his gem.
Let him get
and
it.
One thing about Andre, this is my people. Every time he come in Atlanta, he just has such good energy.
Facts.
I just love his spirit. So you got to give us a rant about your industry, which you already do for real on Instagram and on his YouTube channel, and a gem about just being in your industry.
A rant would be, man, like stop letting the internet like trick you and fool you. Focus on doing one thing at a time. I know it look cool. Everybody out here doing crypto. You got people doing stock options. You got people doing real estate. You got people with a trucking business. All that's cool, and you can do all of that. But focus on one thing at a time because what the internet will have you out here, it will have you out here spread so thin. You trying to do so many different things, and you got $5,000. You can't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't go buy a house, start a trucking business and a clothing line with 5 bands. Like it just ain't gonna work out that way. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have 1,000 over here, 2 over here, and 2 over here. And then when something come up, like you stuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? So man, like focus on one thing at a time. You know what I mean? And for me, the first thing for me was the real estate. That established my foundation. It gave me the freedom. It gave me the ability to save my money to now I can go and reinvest in other things. And a gem would be, man, stay down till you come up. Like don't quit so fast. Don't be so, and I learned that from dealing with NACA. Like everything not gonna always go your way. Don't be so entitled. People don't owe you nothing out here. People don't owe you nothing. Focus on doing what you're supposed to do, and God will put everything in your life at the right time and in the right place. I promise you that.
Look, big gems. Tell them how to find you, Dre.
I'm at Renaissance125 across all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, my website, www.therenaissanceyou.com. I just put out a book called Renaissance's 5-Step Guide on Getting Your Shit Together. If you're interested, if you're interested, I got a few copies in my book bag. You can grab that. And also my YouTube channel, I got a lot of dope stuff. Like I say, my series, The Landlord Life. And I'm just working, man. I'm out here working. I got merch. You know, click the link in my bio. You know, all that. So yeah, man.
I could have got a hat today, though. I really want one.
I got you. Next time I come here, I promise you.
All right.
Say less. So look, after this commercial break, we're gonna bring on the NACA Queen herself, my girl Nadira. So stay tuned.
Hey, you guys, we are coming to you live from London, and we were wondering why aren't they a part of our community?
Look, if you're not part of the Rants and Gems gem dropping community, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice. We got live events, behind the scenes, live Q&As with our guests. You need to be a part of the community.
You got to be a part of this community so you can ask questions to all of our guests, so you can interact with us, vibe with us, get exclusive behind the scenes footage. I mean, we're going to have everything you need in our community. So y'all stop asking questions on Instagram and join our community so you can get the real answers.
Exactly. So link is in the bio. Join the Rants and Gems certified gem dropper community today. Get behind the scenes action, live Q&As, free access to all of our live pop-ups, and the Rants and Gems live experience tour. So don't wait, don't hesitate. Link in the bio. Join today.
See you soon, gem droppers.
Peace. All right, man, we are back from commercial break, and let me tell you, y'all should be in these live experiences, man, because we have a whole blast with our live audience. If I look like I'm crying and tearing, because we just been laughing up a storm. But let's get back to the show. So, part 2, we had to bring in my girl, Nadira. We actually went to junior high school together.
What?
Me and
we
her go
did.
back like a hairline. Like literally. like a hairline, right? And so yeah, we're gonna bring on my girl, Nadira, the NACA Queen. How are you, Nadira?
I'm good.
Shit, you brought the people with you today, huh?
I brought the people. I'm good. How are you
Queens
guys?
get the money.
All day.
Queens get the money.
Queens get the money.
Let's go.
I love it.
Talk to us, Nadira. So who are you? Introduce yourself for the people.
My name is Nadira Taylor. I'm the principal broker of Diamond Mine Real Estate, aka the NACA Queen. We have offices here in New York, Georgia, and we're coming to California and Jersey. And my goal is
Told you Queens get the money.
all day. And my goal is to help people purchase homes through affordability programs.
Love it,
Nice.
love it, love it. So first question is, when did you fall in love with real estate?
I fell in love with real estate years ago as a necessity. My story, teenage mother, my first job 2001, and it was for a major real estate firm. And I've held titles in corporation as executive, property manager, director of compliance. So my love for real estate goes way back, and I learned the game from the inside out. And I figured as I'm learning the game, I could just stop, because once you get that loophole, I'm like, hey, I don't have to be a sales agent. I can become a broker because I'm managing properties, and all that money adds up. I found the loophole, became a broker, and here I am today.
Love it, love it, love it. I love the fact that you said that you're a teenage mom, right? Teenage mom, and it didn't stop you. You just made
Not
you
at all.
hungry, and you just kept on going. So salute to you for that one.
Thank
That's dope.
you.
I love that.
Thank
So let's
you.
talk NACA.
All right.
All right, you're the NACA Queen. First of all, how many of these NACA deals have you closed in your career?
Honestly, we started 6 years ago. I would say about 300 easy.
Woo.
300
All majority here in New York.
easy. Majority in New York. We're actually on our first NACA deal in Georgia, but all in New York.
Wow. So it can happen.
It could definitely happen.
And you purchased your first home with NACA.
Yes, I did 11 years ago.
See?
How much you pay for that house?
Shoot, 11 years ago?
Yeah.
265,
How much is worth today?
825.
Queens get the money.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Hold on. You had a question? My bad. I'm getting hyped right here.
I see how you're getting hyped.
Yeah. Take the mic.
But
The wrong punch.
I know that you are, like you closed so many loans, and there's so many realtors and brokers and real estate professionals, they just really want to understand how they can better represent their clients. So, just talking from experience, can you give them a few simple steps about how they can better assist their clients through the NACA program?
I'll be honest with you. I think that you have to go through the NACA program in some form or fashion for you to even understand. So when people complain about the NACA program is hard, I quit the NACA program twice, and because that's how hard it was. And I felt like they were asking for a lot of information, and, we know how it is with not-for-profits. You get what I'm saying? And we're like, you just want too much, just give me the money. And like a lot of people, though, I thought that NACA was a magic program. And me, myself, personally, I wasn't ready. And as I'm helping more people now, I see where my mistake was. So it's easier for me to help people get accepted because, one, I understand their pain when they're going through the process. Two, I understand what it is when they feel that because they went through this rigorous program, that they feel they deserve this $1 million house. However, your assets and the amount that you were approved for and whatever information you provided while you went through the program doesn't afford you that $1 million house that they want. So I understand the ins and the outs to explain to them, like, okay, fine, you did this. However, looking at the market and looking at what you are approved for, this is what you can afford. So I think that the agents who are most successful are the ones that actually went through the program.
But what if they can't? Like, what if you can't? Like, you got to keep in mind, and I know how NACA works. It is a rigorous process, and it takes a lot of you just motivating your clients just to continue on with the process. That's before you even get to the home shopping part, which is a whole nother beast
Right.
of buying property. So when you're like, okay, what can agents tell their clients to get prepared for the NACA program?
One, you have to have funds. So I think that when everyone say that there's no money down, that's absolutely true. NACA pays your closing costs, NACA pays your attorney fees, and also your appraisal fees. However, we're living in a world now where you need to have some type of money. So even if you're following us on Instagram, you see people holding a check, they received the refund back. However, you needed to give them something. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people come into this program without any savings. Now, you need to have the money, you'll get it back, but you need to be able to tell the owner, I have something to show you that I have skin in the game. And I think that's where a lot of agents who haven't gone through the program, where they get confused because they just hear no money down. So yes, like anyone else, they want to help this person, get this home.
Right.
But you need to have some type of skin in the game. And as an agent, once you understand that, then I think that you will be a lot more successful, but you have to have money.
Number one, have some money.
Have some money.
What about number two? What's something else they can tell their clients to prepare for?
Number two, they can tell their clients, like the brother said earlier, is you need to be okay with your MLO, your mortgage loan officer. So even if you have an agent that does not understand NACA, we all know, even if it's not NACA, as an agent, you need to be okay with the loan officer. You need to be able to pick up the phone and either make a phone call, or if it's a program where you aren't able to speak with the loan officer directly, you need to be able to tell your client what they should ask. And there's just certain fundamentals when it comes to real estate that you can do to tell your client, like, hey, listen, okay, well, when are you getting your commitment? Ask them this. Is your commitment condition free? Well, what are your conditions? Because even though I don't understand the program, I know real estate.
Right.
So let me know what your conditions are so I can help you with that on this end.
We got two.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the third thing you would tell an agent to do to help their clients?
Attach themselves to either a brokerage or another agent who understands NACA. So if you continue to run into a brick wall, then there must be something that's missing, whether it's in your town or it's in your state. So if you're doing NACA, let's say in New York, you can come to Diamond Mine. But if not, if you're doing NACA somewhere else, I'm not the only one that does NACA. Who in that state is familiar with NACA? Maybe I should join their brokerage firm, or maybe I should attach myself to this person so that this way I can learn it.
Great information.
Good
Great
information.
information.
Yeah, I got a question. So, as a buyer, let's talk to the person who's never heard of NACA before, right? Let's break down the qualification. Like, what's the minimum credit score? What's because I know it's a savings pattern.
Yes,
Let's break down like the ABCs of NACA of how to get approved for a NACA loan in 2022.
Okay. So to be approved through NACA in 2022, like I said, you already need to have money. However, NACA goes there's two things that they don't play with. One of those are your rent pattern. You must pay your rent on time. So if you were on time with your rent all year, and it's time for you to go to your qualification in March, and you missed January, guess what? Your year just started again in February.
Wow.
That's one thing that they don't play with. They also don't play with savings. You need to have some type of savings. So in New York, what's ideal for a single family is $2,600 a month. But if your rent is only $1,500, then that means that you are now saving $1,100 a month. You cannot stop or skip a savings. Once you establish whatever your savings pattern is, whether it's $50 or $1,000, you need to do that until the closing table.
So, with the rent, let's just say I live with mom and dad. I live at home. I live in the basement because this is New York, right? Most people can't afford to go get a $3,000 apartment. They're living at home, right? So, do they have to pay mom and dad rent? Can they live at home and not pay any rent and still get approved?
Well, you don't necessarily have to pay your mom and dad. So if you were lucky enough to have one of those mom and dads that don't charge you, because you know how it was growing up.
100%. You're going to pay.
Exactly. So if you were lucky enough, then you need to that is now your savings. So again, even though you live with mom and dad rent free, you don't want them to know how much money you make, you're still saving that $2,600 a month so that this way you can show it to NACA. However, instead of a year, they want 8 months.
8 months.
8 months.
Now, as far as the savings pattern, like you said, so if you want to get a mortgage that's going to say cost you $4,000 a month, you have to show that you are saving $4,000 a month.
Correct.
Every single month for at least 12 months.
Correct. It's either rent plus savings that equals $4,000, or it's just savings.
Okay. Now, what if you don't have that?
Then you will not be approved for $4,000 a month. And then this is where Diamond Mine Real Estate start coaching you and say, you know what? Okay, I understand you like that house with those taxes, but you're more in this area over here. We're gonna find some nice ones over here. Don't worry about it. That's the next house.
Go for that one.
Yeah.
Because you ain't saving enough.
Yeah, we're a little bit over here.
So, but the key I think you said is don't break the savings pattern though. Because sometimes people go through these programs and then they say, oh, I got pre-approved. Then they go find a house. It may take them 3-4 months. But in that 3-4 month time after they got approved, they stop saving.
Right, and I've seen that happen as well. So we've helped people where they were approved 3-4 months ago. They didn't upload anything. They didn't do anything. They done bought a car. They did anything, everything that they were told not to do, they did it. And and when we put them in contract, I've seen the bank walk away. It's like, okay, well, you no longer qualify for this amount that we gave you.
So you gave us 3. So all right, before I go on, what's the minimum credit score?
620.
620. What if I got a 615?
Then you're waiting a little while.
Okay.
We'll work with you to boost that up a little bit.
I was about to say some shit.
I love her conflict resolution. We're just going to wait a little while. You're just going to have to buy over
She's
here
so
in this other
political
area.
correct with
It's
it.
just so politically correct. I love
Just
it.
gonna have to wait a little bit.
I'm just gonna have to wait a little while.
Now, when we heard from Dre earlier, he purchased multifamilies with NACA. Now, the loan limits I've been hearing haven't changed,
No.
right? So NACA. So explain like the loan limits for NACA.
So NACA is still using 2019 conforming loan limits.
Wow.
So in New York, for a single family home, they're at 726. However, in Georgia, because Georgia isn't considered high cost yet, they're at 484.
I know.
Now,
It's a shame.
for a 2-family here, they're at 930. For a 3-family, 1.124. I know I do this all day. For a 4-family, we're at 1.397.
That doesn't get you much in New York.
It doesn't, but that's why you need to have an agent that's not just seasoned in NACA, but you also need to have like a real estate agent. So when you get people that say, you know what, I can't get your house because I don't know NACA, oftentimes it's also because they don't know real estate. So,
You woke up and chose violence today in Brooklyn, huh?
I chose violence.
You choosing violence. They don't know real estate. Keep going, Queen. I like this spice. So does Jordana. You see her face? She love that shit.
That's why she gave out the juice.
She said she ain't need a drink. She already coming with it. But it's like you need to understand real estate. There are houses for under 726, and everyone knows that. Okay, so in Suffolk County, you could get a house that's $450,000, but in Nassau County, that same house might be the 726. So you need to be able to know your areas, and no matter which state you're at.
How
Taxes
are we
are
getting
different.
our loans, our offers accepted with a NACA loan? Because these agents don't want to hear no NACA. They don't even want to hear FHA. So, you know, we're looking at one right now too.
Oh, I am not hitting on that again. No, that is not true. That is not what I said. What I said was it is difficult to compete because you guys have different contingencies that are not required with other loan programs, including NACA. In the state of Georgia, you got to have a 10-day minimum due diligence period. And our state, our state protects the buyer. So what that does is it says, hey buyer, you can terminate for any reason. If you woke up and said, oh, I didn't like the way my hair laid today, I want to terminate this contract, give me my money back, you can get your money back. And that is crazy to say, Georgia, you can't do that. Let's say you're competing against multiple offers. You need 10 days to see if you want to change your mind. And this person only said, I'll need 1 day. Well, the 10-day person is going to lose.
Right.
So I want to know how you're getting around it, because we're in the middle of a housing crisis, especially an affordable housing crisis. And it's a shortage. So I would love for not just agents, but other people to know what can they do to win deals, because you guys deserve to use these programs.
Mm-hmm.
The market is it's up in the stuff.
We need 3 tips. Give us 3 tips to get our offers
All right,
accepted.
so I'm gonna give 3 quick tips because I can't give all my secrets. Remember, I have 17 agents who pay a split.
You already know I know.
So
I
we
ain't mad at it,
can't.
Queen.
So we can't give away all the secrets.
Give them 2 then.
But here's one important one, right? So I already said you need to have money in order for you to do NACA, right? I'm like a real New Yorker talking with my hands.
Please
But
Give it to me. Please give me the
so
New York
if you
vibes.
have $50,000, $60,000, right, and your house is $500,000 that you're trying to purchase, $50,000 of it is 10%. So you are no longer putting down 3.5%. Now you're putting down 10%. You're gonna get that money back anyway. Let it ride. Put everything on it. Max out. You got $100,000. This looks better than the person, even with FHA, that's not doing NACA with a bank that's preferred from the listing agent. You know, 10% down, 15% down looks so much better than 3.5% down. And that's what a lot of people are missing. Like, they have the money, they're going to get it back. NACA's 100% financing. One last thing that will say is that NACA doesn't always have to be 100% financing.
We're listening.
Put the 3.5% on the principal if you got it.
There you go. There you go.
And that's it. That's all I got, because I have agents that.
And first of all, she has agents that pay her a fee and a split for this information. But this was some valuable information. If you're an agent, I hope you took notes and you paid attention, because at least these 2 tips will help you better represent your clients and get your offers accepted in this very competitive market. But you also are looking out for the best interest of your clients by allowing them to use a program, because that interest rate is unbeatable. It is unbeatable.
The interest rate is dope. So what's the interest rate for NACA right now?
As of right now, see, now there's 2.
Hold on. Disclaimer.
Yes.
Disclaimer. This is for today.
Today only.
Today only. Today is, what day is this we filming this? Like, what's today? Somebody tell me today. What's today?
Today is the 5th.
Today is March 5th, people, when we filming this. You might see this in April 5th, all right? So you check with your loan officer for those rates of that day. But as of today. What are
so
the rates?
as of today, it's 3% and 4%. And the reason why there's
3% or 4%?
Or 4, not 2.
Explain this to us.
Okay, so now with NACA, you're either a non-priority member or you are a priority member.
What's the difference?
So we're going to use New York numbers, and I could also use Georgia numbers. So the track median income percentage for New York is 85,000. For Georgia, it's 82,000. So if you make 85,000 or 82,000 or less, you are considered to be a non-priority member. That's even if it's $1 under, you are a priority member starting off at the lower interest rate. However, if you make $1 more, you are now starting off at the higher interest rate. However, if you're purchasing in an area that is considered to be low to moderate income, you are now a priority member. It doesn't matter if you make 300,000 or 400,000. If you're purchasing somewhere that's considered to be, low cost, then you are now considered to be a priority member, and you start off with the lower interest rate.
Okay, y'all understood that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you start off at that 3%, then you can buy it down.
Then you could buy your interest rate down.
What can you buy it down to right now, today?
As of
March 5th.
As of March 5th, if you
You gotta say that, because people are
You
nuts. They're like, I heard you on Rants And Gems, you said the rate was this, and it may come out a month from now, and it may be 2% higher. So you gotta let the people know.
So if you are a non-priority member, you can only buy down 5 points, which is
Only 5 points?
only 5 points, but that's still a lot.
That's a lot of damn points.
Which is 1.25% that you can buy down and comes off. If you are a priority member, you can buy 7 points, what is that, 1.75?
Damn. So you can you can get a seller's concession to pay that.
Right, so they only cap what you bring to the table. They don't cap what the seller brings to you. So if the seller gives you more money, you can buy down even more. So amazing. Even if you're capped at the 5 or the 7 points and the seller decides to give you more money,
take the money.
Rock out.
All right, so as a buyer, I'm working with Diamond Mine Realty and one of your 17 wonderful agents.
Yes.
Right? How do we go through this process without being stressed the fuck out? Because NACA is the gift and the curse. Let's just keep it real.
It's a fact.
This is the gift and the curse.
We'll keep it real. But what we'll do at Diamond Mine Real Estate is that we'll coach you through the whole program. So we have 2 types of buyers. We have the ones that we register. You get one-on-one Zooms with us. That means that we're coaching you from start to finish. And we have a high successful rate where if you start with us, then you automatically, it's like, because we gave you all of the tips of the trade, you're automatically qualified on your first visit with your MLO. Now, if you already have a NACA ID, I do monthly Zooms, and at that time, people come in, they ask all their questions, and I help them get qualified at that point. But we're getting commitments for NACA in less than 21 days. We're closing in 30.
So you can close a NACA loan in 30 days?
In 30 days.
That sounds like cap.
But
It sounds like
it
somebody.
sounds like
no,
Kat.
she's connected.
But
She's
I know-
she's well connected and
because
highly respected.
I know what the comments are going to say. Well, it took me 8 years to close on NACA, right? But you are the NACA Queen.
Yes.
So your buyers are closing in 30 days.
Our buyers are closing in 30 days. We're to the point now where the sellers need more time because a lot of people accept programs because they feel that they have more time to do whatever it is that they want to do. And we're like, well, when we closing, when we closing, when we closing.
It's
Now
a humble brag.
we're harassing people.
I love it.
I fucking love it.
All right. Where we on time? We gotta go.
Okay.
Okay, we gotta go. So
We gotta go.
We're gonna end this. You gotta give us one more because you gave a lot of gems.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So we need another rant,
Okay.
another gem for our audience.
And we don't need the gyms you give your 17 agents that pay you a split. You give us another one.
I have to make sure they protected. The only rant that I would have is one, you just have to do your due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep up with your paperwork. And this is just to the buyers. From a real estate perspective, we have a lot of NACA buyers. I don't understand why listing agents feel that we have to come to the open houses in order to get an accepted offer. That's my rant in real estate. If you're there anyway, why you just can't show the house? Like, here's our business card. We're gonna make sure that you close.
Jesus.
The bottom line is that we're gonna help you sell this house. So that's my rant in real estate. I hope somebody can answer that in the comments.
Listen, we had a whole thing about that in Georgia. And
Yeah.
we had to make sure that it's also on the listing agreement with the listing agent and also the seller. Because what seller is going to agree to an agent saying, I'm listing your house, and then when I host an open house to sell your house, if 5 people so happen to come without an agent, the agent that got them ready to buy the house, we're not gonna pay them because they didn't have an agent actually escort them. What kind of greedy, selfish, messy stuff is that?
We on the same page.
That's not how you're supposed to sell a house, because in that case, when you flip your hat, you're representing the seller's best interest, and you should want to get that house sold by any means necessary, whether the agent came or not. You was there giving out cookies and brochures anyway. Let the people tour the house and then call their agent. And that's how we all win. And we forget that as agents, one thing about buying, and I've sold quite a few houses. One thing about real estate is this: you may work with the client once, maybe twice, and if I was in this market, I could see myself doing deals with her consistently. You need to have those good relationships in the industry so you can win offers, win deals, and keep those relationships going.
Agreed.
Agreed.
All right,
And what's your gem?
She gave the gem.
That was the rant.
No, the gem was the paperwork.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
then we good then.
Thank you.
We're good.
You
I
give rants
listened.
and gems and all this. I like it. I like it. All right, so y'all learned something today? Yes. All right, cool. Nadira, tell the people how to find you and one of your 17 agents.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, Diamond Mine RE, DIAMOND And we're also on YouTube giving 2-minute videos to help you along the whole process, and that's at Diamond Mine Real Estate. And on Diamond Mine RE, all the agents are listed. I always showcase the agents.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. Give it up for Nadira, the NACA Queen herself.
The agents are in the building.
Shout out to LaDonna.
The 17 agents.
She's hype.
Oh, well, I saw y'all.
Go ahead, LaDonna. Yo, y'all should be here. All right, audience, you should be at the live experience. My name is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, better known as International MG.
And my name is Quiana Watson, license number 317576. Broker extraordinaire, #international baby.
Yes.
And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Rants and Gems show.
Peace.